How's it going, everybody? Testing grounds are over and many heroes might receive a plethora of changes, but that doesn't mean we're anywhere near done. Game balance is ever evolving and not just in For Honor. And while many demands are being made on a daily basis, which hero needs a rework the most, or who deserves it the most, or which group yells the loudest and demands hyper armor for a certain hero, all that doesn't matter. Today we are simply going to look at the worst moves that the current roster has to offer. This list is in no particular order, and just because a hero is included here doesn't imply that they're in dire need of a complete overhaul, or the opposite. So no overreactions please. We've always been talking about how specific moves, in most cases some form of bash, is what makes a hero viable. This is especially the case when talking about 1v1 scenarios. Team modes allow for more variety, as different roles require different movesets. While the testing ground Jun, who for example wasn't a phenomenal 1v1 hero, they more than made up for it in teamfighting prowess. So, while we sometimes can clearly identify a single move or mix-up that makes a character viable, there also exist completely redundant, sometimes vestigial moves. Removing those would almost leave that hero in a better state, as you aren't tempted to use it now and then. With all that out of the way, let's look at the first move. Conqueror's Same Side Lights. Most of you should be aware that Conk has an infinite attack chain. All combinations, all sides. Except for this one rule. You cannot throw a light from the same side as the previous attack, otherwise you'll end up with a 900 millisecond light. Yes, you heard right. A light attack that is slower than his combo side heavies and the same speed as combo top heavy. And yes, it does count as a light when you parry it. It's almost as if the game wants to punish you for selecting the wrong side. Throwing an unfeintable, extremely slow attack that nets your opponent a heavy for parrying it. There used to be exactly one scenario where it was useful. Highlander is able to dodge all of Conqueror's attacks on light timing when in offensive stance. He sees an indicator, he dodges and avoids it. That is one of the reasons why the matchup is so skewed in Highlander's favour. Now that lights are faster, dodging on reaction has become a little harder, so a Highlander just wave dashing in your face and reacting to everything has become a little less prevalent. Because the same side light used to catch these dodges on indicator. I don't know when this changed, but when we recorded those same side lights, they were dodged just fine. So, as it stands right now, there is absolutely no reason to ever throw out this attack. It's only a detriment at this point. I also don't really see a reason to not allow Conqueror to actually have normal speed same side lights. But moving on, let's talk about Shinobi. I initially wanted to leave him off the list, to maintain the charade of me hating the hero and denying him a proper rework, because that is clearly within my power. But then I thought I might as well throw them a crumb or two. So let's talk Slide Tackle. First of all, thank you to Kawaii for digging up these old clips, it's very much appreciated. But to the move itself, it's an out of lock sprint bash. That means we have to compare to the likes of Crashing Charge or Conqueror's Charging Shield Crush. I had to look up that name, they're running bush basically. One that is almost omnipotent and the other only confirming damage from allies, but being unreactable. Slide Tackle sits somewhere in the middle, but somehow still remains apart. It is a 600 millisecond bash that knocks the target over and confirms a singular light. But it is a huge pain to get. Locking on fucks with it, sometimes you're out of range because of terrain. It's just an amazing experience. And then we have a 5-second stamina pause after performing the slide. 5 fucking seconds, just so he can't spam it, I guess. The move is an absolute mess on multiple levels, same as the character. It used to be absolutely ridiculous and arguably the best of these unlocked moves at one point. I've heard the argument that it's not that bad right now because it's so slow that it catches people again. That is a sad testament of this hero's state if you ask me. Then let's look at a move that used to be absolutely ridiculous and is now a shell of its former self, even more so than Slide Tackle. I'm talking about Berserker's Back Zone. Let me list its old features. It was unparryable because it put you out of range, but it would connect if used as an option select and the opponent performed a move that moved them forward. All hits used to be heavies and gave an execute prompt. It had the stamina cost of a heavy and not that of a zone. It could be dodge recovery cancelled as the last hit almost always whiffed. If performed in a corner that stopped your character from moving backwards, the hit stud confirmed all 3 hits. It could be performed forwards with unlock tech. The clips shown right now are all from my video back then explaining why it's broken, and those were after the first batch of nerfs already arrived. Well, nowadays, it's just bad. The one good thing it has going for it is that it's not unsafe on block, so it makes option selecting with it a little safer. But because of the removal of the dodge recovery cancel, if you see a berserker perform that move and you have a forward dodge attack, you can always punish it, and in the worst case scenario, you trade with a single light, which almost always lets you come out on top of the damage trade. So, other than to confuse someone, the use of it's severely limited nowadays. But let's talk about another move, one whose use has always been severely limited. Xiaolin's sweep. Xiaolin is already not so common a pick, but seeing as Xiaolin actually used the sweep is probably one of the rarest sights in the game. You not only have to first land your kick, you have to make another gamble afterwards just so you get less damage, with the only benefit of being able to go straight back into cheese stance. Unless you value the extra 3 damage from a full 3 light combo that much. It is a 700 millisecond bash, which puts it in the realm of reactable for every platform. Even on the shittiest console setup, you should be able to dodge it on reaction. Unless it surprises you so much that anyone would actually be foolish enough to throw it out. It is also punishable with a guard break on dodge, or you just straight up throw a heavy, because it needed that extra massive recovery, I guess. And the only bash left in the game that you can still revenge parry. This has been removed from all other moves that had it in the past. I'm honestly curious how many sweeps have been thrown out in relation to landed kicks. Even with teammates around, I don't see the benefit. You can already confirm damage off the kick, no need to sweep and take the extra risk and feed even more revenge. I've never quite understood what the intention behind the move was. Its drawbacks far outweigh whatever little benefits it has. It's fine if it is intended for niche use, but in that niche, it needs to work. Not sometimes, but really not most of the times. Alright, let's leave the list at that. I'm sure many of you will add things to this list, deservedly or not. Everyone else can be the judge of that in the comment section. During the making, I went through many moves, and a lot of them were once really good, but then had 1 or 2 properties altered or even removed, and then were just left in a terrible state. If you'd be interested in a list of moves like that, please let me know. Some of them were already mentioned in this one. Having said all that, I hope the video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.